we come with a proposition, we have conversations with the client, we adjust, and there's a lot of back and forth that happen. So that sometimes it's harder to have it on paper. It's like a feeling, conversation, explaining to the team that it was not just like one presentation and we signed. It was like back and forth. That put the client already in a different mindset. And so the team needs also to understand that. And that's hard, I think, in general.
My name's Mike Lander, and you're listening to Higgle, the B2B Sales Club podcast, where we bring you actionable insights about sales RFPs, negotiations, and difficult procurement discussions from sales leaders, brand leaders, and procurement leaders. Please subscribe to get updates when new episodes are released. Alice, thanks ever so much for joining me on Higgle, the B2B Sales Club podcast. Great to have you as a guest.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure. And you're currently where in the world?
In Montreal, where it's pretty cold.
I bet. We think it's cold here in the UK. Mm-hmm. Nothing like the cold that you have. Nothing like. Temperature roughly where you are?
So in Celsius, it's like feels like minus 25 or something like that. It's been a week or 10 days like that. Oh. It's painful. Right now, very painful. I would like to
bet. Stay inside. Exactly. Yes. So without further ado, Alice, introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you work for? And then your favorite song and why?
So my name is Alice. I've been working for the same agency for the last 9 years, who's called LG2. LG2 is a traditional agency in advertisement based in Montreal with an office in Quebec and in Toronto. And lately, actually last year, we did a major shift in our company and we created a group with business unit. I'm inside the digital group. So for the last 9 years, I've been working in digital. And it was hard for the digital group to actually be credible on the market and competitive with other digital agency. So we created a brand and a name for that group. So now I'm working for Ref Digital, which is his own agency, completely owned by LG2, but like a little sister of LG2.
Perfect.
Yes.
Favorite song?
Favorite song? Well, I don't know if it's a song, but as you mentioned many times, song is related to memories. And right now, the best memory that I'm hoping I'm going to keep all my life is all the singing and dancing I'm doing with my son, who's 7 years old, on Singing in the Rain.
Singing in the Rain. Yes. Amazing.
And I've been watching that when I was a kid, and I showed him to him like 2 months ago, and we sing and dance along, especially the song "Make Them Laugh," where anyway. So it's not a song; it's a full musical.
No, that's a brilliant memory.
All of them are amazing.
Yeah, because it's amazing and it's a connection with your son, and he'll never forget that either.
No, I hope it's going to be like a strong core memory, like it was when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's not possible to forget that. No. So that's brilliant. That's really, really good. So let's jump into the questions.
Yes.
So the first question is, your story is slightly unusual, I think, in terms of your route into business development. So how have you transitioned from project management, account director role into a kind of full-time business development role? What was the backstory?
Thank you for thinking that. I don't think it's unusual, but yeah. So I started as a project manager. I started in a different industry, actually, events, magazine, but really developed specialization and a love for digital 13 years ago, something like that. Mm-hmm. And I love project management. I'm really good with clients, dealing with timeline, budget. I'm very organized. My brain is a bit like I see the world like a puzzle. I like one piece at a time. It's really something like, when we need to pack the car, I want to handle like putting the luggage in the truck. Like I know how it's going to fit perfectly.
Yeah,
and
makes sense.
So I just like went step after step in my company. And 4 years or 5 years ago, I became an account director. So more high level client relationship, having a team of project manager that I was also training. And the story really is that, first of all, when you're an account director, you start doing a bit more business development, upsell. You're a bit
more selling, upselling. Yeah,
exactly. You're a bit more involved into that. I've been given a mission to find someone who would do project management and also do a bit of biz dev development in one of our office. So
Right.
she would be under me, but she would be working for another office. And when we hired her and she started working, I realized all the opportunities she was given at that office. And I didn't see all those opportunities in my office. And I thought it was strange. And so I kind of call my boss and I say, I think there's more here that we don't see. Like, I would like to see everything that comes in. And that kind of started, I don't know, a little snowball because we realized information was not circulating as well. And there were no really point of contact who was doing that. So I think the information was just like, we didn't know where to send that information. So suddenly, by asking for that position, that job, I got a lot of opportunities and we built a little team to answer all those opportunities because I'm not an expert. I need my team, my creative expert, my technical expert. And so I did that for 2-3 years at the same time of my account director job. And I really, really loved it. Like it's I don't know, it's so much fun to talk with new clients, new people, trying to understand their challenges, their goals, how they would like to grow. I love that. And when Ref Digital became a thing, I realized that I couldn't do both jobs at the same time. And also we had a mission for Ref Digital that we had to grow out of just growing by opportunities, but growing with outbound strategy.
So we actually share something as we've been discussing, and I hadn't kind of connected the dots, but it was, now I think about it, it's fairly obvious. I spent 25 years as a project manager.
Okay.
25 years, and then kind of 15 years in a much more commercial role. Mm-hmm. So the question I was going to ask you was, but it made me think about myself as well, was in project and program management, it's very disciplined, lots of structure, lots of timelines. As you said before, when packing the car, you know exactly how it fits together. It's a puzzle. Whereas in business development, it's much more of a windy road, many more paths you could take. You're not quite sure what the outcome's going to look like when you get to the end of a path. Is it a dead end or is it a new opportunity? How do you deal with that psychologically?
Such a good question. Such a good question, because that was one of I think that's the biggest curveball I had moving to that job, because yes, you had to handle a bit more uncertainty of the project. Ambiguity, exactly. And I'm a very practical person. So I needed it to bring things to like a very concrete scenario. And sometimes it was not playing in my favor because I would be like really like the project manager to those clients who are not our client yet. And I would scare them because I would say like,
but we've agreed there's an opportunity. We know what the scope is and we just need to now sign the contract. It'll all be fine. And they go, oh, maybe not.
Exactly. So I needed to like put a bit of water in my wine in my water, and calm things down and be more persuasive and less into details. Like a bit more like, here what we're gonna realize all together. Here's the talent that's gonna be working on your project. Here's the experience we have that show you that we can make that happen, and not already looking into like every little details where it's too much for them anyway at that point of the project.
Exactly. So learning to accept more ambiguity and understanding how to negotiate.
Exactly.
And how to lock things in and leave other things flexible and go on more of a journey.
Yeah. And it's a challenge because when we sign a client, then after, this project I'm handling to the team, and I see the shift between the conversation I had with the client and what the team needs now to do. And I know exactly what they have to do. So I try to,
So another great point. I have a firm belief and have done for many, many years. Projects go wrong at the interface. When there's a handoff between one party and another, that's when the problems occur. As we both know as project managers, that's where the problems are. I think the fact that you've been in the project management role and now you're in the business development growth role, when you hand over to delivery, I suspect the brief is pretty good because you know what it feels like.
Yes, I'm trying to have the best brief as possible. That's true that sometimes between the moment I had conversation with the client, put on the contract, and actually when it comes into delivery, like months pass sometimes. So you need to, even if you took notes and everything, you need to go back into that. So yes, I'm trying to be as accurate as possible and explain the process that we went in with the client to create that contract. And because that's also when, you talk about negotiation, we come with a proposition, we have conversations with the client, we adjust, and there's a lot of back and forth that happen. So that sometimes it's harder to have it on paper. It's like a feeling, conversation, explaining to the team that it was not just like one presentation and we signed. It was like back and forth. That put the client already in a different mindset. And so the team needs also to understand that. And that's hard, I think, in general. But yes, I have a team of, I have a directrice of the studio directrice that like put a place a lot of processes and help us also organize this transition well.
Exactly. And I think, one of the things I learned many, many years ago about that transition, bringing the project manager into the discussions, into the sales discussion at the right moment, way before you've signed the contract, becomes really important because it gives the client confidence that the salesperson is going to move on. They'll be in touch still, but they won't be delivering. But this project manager I've got is going to deliver what I need when I need it. And that's going to become, do I trust that person? And then the transition becomes much easier.
Mm-hmm. That would be ideal if we were certain that the client will sign, will be certain to, assign someone. But it's hard to know who's going to handle the project in advance.
It is.
So, yeah.
But I think where we can, my lesson learned was wherever I can, bring in the delivery lead as soon as possible once we're at the stage of there's something here, and saying to the client, okay, look, Jane may not be available if this gets delayed by 6 months. But if we can move towards contracts and execute in a reasonable time frame, then Jane will be your delivery lead. And I think clients will say that's perfectly reasonable.
I think you're right.
Next question, next thought, next topic. The shift you're making as an agency from being primarily kind of inbound focused, and we can discuss what that means in a second in its broader context, to putting more emphasis on the outbound prospecting, including challenges and steps involved in that transition. So just talk about, because this is a very common theme, is that agencies rely upon inbound for quite a while, and referrals, I would say, is a kind of inbound, to much more outbound, about you're trying to generate conversations with new people that you don't know. Yes, a referral will definitely help that massively, but relying purely on referrals could be very risky. So what have you learned about that shift, about how you find new opportunities? And there isn't an answer. It's what have you learned in the journey?
So I think that was such an interesting transition, and we all learn, the group at large. So LG2 is independent agency, the biggest agency in Canada. We are very proud of that, and we belongs to stakeholders, and all the partners of the company. They do a lot of networking, and the opportunities of business development come from mostly that networking they're doing. Yeah. But obviously, when you grow by opportunities, you don't really specialize in anything. You just, do the project that comes into your hand. And with Ref Digital, what we are trying to do is really grow into the retail industry.
So you've picked a niche. You've picked a niche.
Exactly.
And you're going to qualify out things that don't fit that niche, is where you are in the journey.
Yes, we're still going to, do a lot of projects that we used to do and we're good at because we just have that portfolio and those opportunities, and, we are not yet
and those
ready
skills.
To, exactly.
But you're pointing yourself in a new kind of direction. You're saying, was it retail?
Exactly.
Retail is going to become your kind of sector focus. A lot of agencies go through this. They mature, they develop, they then go, as Blair Enns says, you need to focus. You need to have a niche. You said that for years. So you focus in on a niche, which is normally a crosshair of a sector with some kind of capability, a specialization, whatever that might be. It might be UX, UI, it could be digital build, it could be all sorts of things. In your case, it's probably advertising, is it? So it's...
Well, so that's the thing. RG2, who's an advertising agency, already have a lot of company clients in retails. Maybe I didn't tell that at the beginning, but Ref Digital, what we do is that we do website, loyalty application for other industry or other purpose. We do e-commerce and immersive experiences. And what we are really specialized is brand digital experience, how we make your brand live on web. And we're really good at that. Like we don't want to for your website to look like everyone else. We want to really take your brand essence, your identity, your brand identity, and show that on the website or on the digital experience we're going to build together.
Exactly.
So because RG2 already have clients in retails, we don't feel that we are far from that specialization. The only thing is that because it's more for advertisement, the contact that we have might not be the key decision maker for the digital project.
Yeah.
And we realize it's really hard to reach out to the people in charge of the digital project at the client, and we cannot go through our regular point of contact.
So, for example, it may be, very simplistically, L2 had a relationship with the head of media for a big retailer in Canada. And that's great for media and for running paid campaigns. But the head of digital runs all the digital footprint for the retailer, and you don't necessarily have a great relationship with them. And maybe the paid media head inside that retailer doesn't particularly want to introduce you to the head of digital for all sorts of reasons. So now it's like, well, how do you get access to the head of digital inside a retailer with no previous relationship or connection?
Exactly. And we have to remember that RG2 is not really known for digital first. So this is where Ref Digital come into place. This is a company that's going to be specialized in digital. And that's our goal, is how to grow our name and grow our credibility in that field.
In digital retail e-commerce. So you've now picked a crosshair. Digital retail e-commerce.
Exactly. And it can be retail. It don't have to be e-commerce necessarily, but all the retail industry. So that first realization of like, okay, we have to develop an outbound strategy really
because you need new relationships because you don't have any existing relationships.
Exactly.
So what did you do? What happened?
And first of all, we have to understand who are we talking to. So who are those people? Where are they? Where do they mingle? How we reach out to them? And so that was also a fun shift because there's a lot of events. Retailers are, overwhelmed of, events,
absolutely,
proposition, invitation. Everyone
wants to meet them.
Exactly.
Everyone wants to meet the head of digital for a big retailer.
Exactly. And I'm sure they have I'm sure it has to be overwhelming for them. So there's a couple of events that happen in Montreal and other place in Canada, in the States as well. But we started in Montreal, and I was able to reach out to a lot of those people who was going to this event and make contact just on LinkedIn. Reach out, say hi, say, I see you going to that event. I will be there. I would love to meet. And that created a first link. And some people I met at those events.
So someone else held an event. You found out they were going.
Exactly.
And then you said, I'll be there as well. It would be great just to have a coffee, have a conversation.
Exactly.
How did that work? What was your response rate like on LinkedIn?
Very well. Surprisingly, very well.
Do you know what the kind of the hook was, the interest?
So I'm guessing that first of all, it was a personal message. It was really, hey, name of the person, I will be there. And I think it sounded in the email. The second is that people go to those events to network and to meet people. And sometimes they go alone. They don't go with a team. And it can be a bit scary to say, oh, okay, I'm going to go to this event. I want to go. The conference are great. But I'm a bit, scared to go on my own. So someone reach out to you and say, I'm going to be there. Let's meet. Here's my face. Here's my name. Here's what I do. Yeah. I don't know. It feels like, okay, I know one person.
Now I've got something
to.
Arranged. I've got someone to talk to.
Exactly.
It's a very simple, but creative strategy. It's like, find out if someone's going to a conference that's a known conference and then say, let's have a coffee. Where's the harm in that? You're there anyway. and you've got time to spare.
Exactly.
We used to, very similar, when I was a partner in a consulting firm, what we realized was actually sponsoring the event isn't that valuable. What's really valuable is getting a dinner with 10 chief procurement officers, finance directors who were already in town and could go to the evening drinks for the conference, or they could come and see us at a nice restaurant, have a conversation with their peers in a more intimate environment with 12 people. That was a much better way, we found, of building relationships.
You are absolutely right. And this is really part of our strategy. So a lot of what happens is that when there's an event somewhere, so we try to grow in Quebec, in Canada, but mostly in the States, because of course, just by the density of population, there's more business there than anywhere else. And we're so close. I mean, we're very
across the border.
Exactly. Yep. So there are a lot of events that we go to, and what we try to do is to organize exactly what you just say, a dinner, something prior, during, after, where we can invite clients. And funny thing is that sometimes, right now, this is what we do. I hope that in 5 years it's going to be different, but we invite Québécois clients. So, because they are, traveling to another place, it's easier to reach out to them when they're actually outside of the country than when they're here in Quebec, and we say like, hey, can we have a coffee? It's like, I'm too busy. But when they're outside of the country, again, they're there to network and meet people. Exactly.
Yeah. And it's also culturally aligned as well. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
So I think that common theme, that definitely works. Takes effort because you've got to find out if they're going, find the right people, work out what the ICP is, contact them, get lots of rejections, get some people that say yes, book it in your diary, do all that. What else has worked? So that's definitely a theme that I would recommend anyone tries, to be quite frank. It's a very good way of meeting new people that are relevant to you. What else have you tried that's worked or not worked?
So the other thing we tried, who was, I think, a great success, we planned an event in our office. A few weeks after that first event, I went and I contacted a lot of people. We put on an event in our office on a subject that really, is appealing for the retailers.
Now then. So when you thought about that event, so I've done a few of these, some have worked, most haven't, and you invite people. Yeah. Did you have a draw? Did you have like a name, someone from the industry? Because people, if it was me, I'd be like, Alice has invited me to an event. Who's speaking? Alice is speaking. Okay, I get along well with Alice. Alice has got a point of view, but I'm busy. But if it's the head of digital for the biggest retailer in Canada, I'll go to that because I want to hear what he or she has got to say.
So you are completely right, once again. So what we did is that we had a panel. So we were able to bring 3 people who really had something to say and who's relevant in the industry. Someone from the retail industry. So it's always helpful to, know that someone on the stage that shares the same struggle and same thoughts is going to speak. We had an expert in e-commerce who actually is very known. She did a lot of speaks before. So, people, I'm sure, was like, okay, we know this person, we're comfortable. Yeah. And then another expert in AI, because obviously the subject was about e-commerce and AI, who also published a book and everything. So yes, that definitely the subject, the panelist was one of the strong thing of the event. And enough that we did it a week before Black Friday, and we had a good outcome for that period, even if obviously a lot of people also cancel, mentioning that a week prior Black Friday, it was hard for them to be there. But it was pretty good. We invited, I think it was 120 invitation we sent. Same thing. Again, personalized. I sent them by email, by LinkedIn. Obviously, I was not the only one who sent invitation. We all did. It was all personalized.
And when we say personalized, Alice, just to check, I've got a bit of a bugbear, a hobby horse that I kind of talk about, which is I can't bear AI personalization at scale. To give AI 120 names and say, go and look at their website, see what they've said online, personalize it, hit send, and humans don't have to touch it, I think is nonsense. I think what you're talking about is You do the research, maybe use AI to help the research, but you're personalizing it to them. It's written by you with some help from a generative AI tool, but it is from you and you are the person writing the email effectively.
Definitely. And sometimes it's linked about like just, it doesn't have to be necessarily a lot of research on them. It can be just like, hey, we missed each other at the event. Hey, I was happy to see you at the event. Just a little sentence that make that email just really
and a human connection.
Exactly.
I was at the event and didn't see you. I genuinely was at the event and I genuinely didn't see you.
Exactly. And then it can be something else. It could be like, this is the subject that every retailers talk about it and we are doing an event about it. So what I mean about personalized is not emailing, like with a template or,
no,
something that is written.
Putting in the effort.
Yeah, exactly.
And finding something that will resonate. Like it might be that, one of our board directors, they're not attending, but I know that you know them. I thought I'd reach out. Jane says hi. Some kind of human connection.
Exactly.
And off 120, what kind of what attendance rate did you get?
So we had 50 confirmed and 25 showed up.
That's good.
But on the 25, it's all, I'm going to say it's all net new. I mean, none of them are a client of us or even almost none of them we talked to.
Now, talk to me about follow-up. So I spoke to someone about this the other week. The follow-up, you've got 25 golden leads, not leads, golden connections that one day may have a project. They're just connections.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't follow up, it's all for nothing.
Yes, you are right. And this is where, just a reminder, I've been in that job for 2 minutes and a half compared to some of the people you have on your podcast. So yes, I know the follow-up is very important. And at the same time, I don't want to be the person who's going to add some overwhelm to the retailers. I want to be pertinent. I want to bring something. The next time I'm going to speak to you, I want that it's going to be
relevant, interesting.
Relevant. So we had a few conversations. So what happened is that during the event, I spread my team and I said you talk to that person, you talk to this person. I wanted
that's what you should do. Absolutely.
Exactly. So at the end of the event,
back, did you talk to them?
Exactly.
What did they say?
I had a spreadsheet with.
This is the organization bit. This is the structure bit. Very good.
And so everyone put the comment. I talked to this person, maybe interest for this and this, and everyone. And so I could see for example, there was someone who was marked show up to the event, but no one talked to them. And I was like, oh my God. So I sent a message to the person. I'm like, I'm sorry. I realized no one talked to you.
Brilliant.
And actually, it was a mistake. He was marked as present, but he didn't. He was not there. So we had a little exchange on LinkedIn. But anyway, that's fun because that's all
but
already.
It's fun. Yeah.
Exactly.
We thought you were there. You weren't there. Oh, that's a problem with our system. I'm really sorry. That's
exactly.
Okay. What happened?
Exactly.
And then you start a conversation.
Exactly. So we did a follow-up. So the people who we thought could be worth contacting again, we did. And then after for the others, except obviously thank you email that was sent, I decided to wait. So this event was in November and I knew we were going to do something in March. So I was like, you know what? It's the holidays. It's all the Boxing Day. It's January. I'm not going to overwhelm them with messages. I'm going to wait. So I'm going to reach out to them very soon to invite them to an event that, again, it's not an event we are doing, but we're going to speak at that event. So make sure they come. And I'm very happy because there's a few people I contacted saying hey, you were supposed to come, but you didn't. Are you interested in taking a coffee? So that's working. So I can do that with a few people. And I had one person who contacted us for a mandate, even if this person didn't show up. He didn't come. It's funny. I didn't even meet him at the event. He just contacted us hey, it's something that you guys do. I'm like, yes, we do that. So it's a first, it's a beginning. It's kind of you feel that what you're doing, it's working, that you're not completely off. I'm always very impatient and very ambitious. So I'm always expecting more about everything that I do, but I'm trying to. Good thing my boss told me calm down. That was a success. We had a great, we had a good attendance. Exactly.
Patience and tenacity. We know now from the research, it's between 9 and 18 months now for most of the bigger opportunities to come to fruition. and then for us to be able to bid for it. So that's a 9 to 18 month gestation period where you've got to remain relevant and have something meaningful to say and not irritate them, but keep in touch. And we also know that there's up to 11 stakeholders involved in any one big decision. So if someone's going to spend $500,000 on digital as a retailer, then there's probably up to 11 people involved in that decision. So you're also not just contacting the head of digital, but then you're going to work out, well, who else might be involved? The finance director and the head of media and all sorts of people, IT, security, infrastructure. And so it goes on. And so you keep on building the relationships.
Exactly. It's a never-ending job, which is
It's a never-ending job. Exactly. So, Alice, just to close this off, two things. One quick question, just literally kind of top of your mind, characteristics and mindset required for leading the growth agenda. What do you think are the kind of characteristics and the mindset?
So I'm sure that any kind of personality can do it. I'm sure there's like every kind of people out there who can do a BD. If I take my who I am, it's going to be like a bit crazy. I have to say that I'm not afraid. I can be very stressed. I can have a lot of pressure. If I'm getting told to do something, I will find all the courage to do it. Just at the beginning of the year, I was sent to an event on my own in New York. I was supposed to go with my boss, and in the end, it was just me. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to have to go to different events, stand there alone, try to talk to people. And in the end, I had so great conversation. So it's worth it, but you need to be willing to do that, not to be afraid. I'm a people person. So like I can
striking
talk
a
to
conversation.
Exactly. And no ego. Like if someone say no to you or don't want to talk to you anymore, or like you have to be okay.
That's okay.
Let's move on. Exactly. And that's pretty that. A bit crazy, not afraid, and a people person. And then obviously all the skills that might require strategy, organization, writing, a lot of other things, but
those are the
first
core.
of all,
I think I'd add one from your discussion that you've, I think, outlined throughout as a thread, which is tenacity. You have to keep going. You have to just keep going.
That's true. You're very right. Resilience.
Resilience. You need to be resilient because there'll be knockbacks every day.
Yeah.
So let's just pull it together. Just a couple of things. Kind of, if you were listening kind of like to this podcast in the car and you were doing a school run or going to work, which most people are, I find. What are the kind of couple of takeaways that you'd have from this? What are your reflections on this discussion?
I think that the number one might be easy for other people. I have no idea. But by creating Ref Digital, that also came with a clear mission. And I don't know, it was kind of the first time for me that I was like, okay, I know where we're going. Because when you grow by opportunities, so that's something that really helped me. And then I'm so focused sometimes, people say like, but we'll also do that. And I'm like, no, this is what. So having a mission, knowing what you are looking for and who you're talking to, that helps a lot. Like, because suddenly, I don't know, you can
You've got certainty. It's galvanized you.
Exactly. The second one, we didn't talk a lot about during the podcast, but it's really having the team with you on that mission. And that it's harder than we think because we don't have the same background. We don't have the same expertise. We don't have the same day-to-day. And I need my leadership committee to work with me. And they've been great. I mean, we work very well together, but it's still a process. It's still learnings we need to do together. And we all do learnings in different part of the story.
Ways.
And so we need to bring that together and talk about it. So that's been really insightful for me to share what I'm learning and what they're seeing and what they're learning. That's really, really fun, and also fun to see everything changing and updating
and working. Yeah.
And working. So that would be the main two things. And then after, I think business development, I don't know, for me anyway, I had a lot of trouble at first thinking I was going to go into that field. I think it doesn't have a nice image. We think about people knocking at the door with their little, exactly. So I kind of felt uncomfortable at the beginning. I was like, I'm going to be that kind of person now, like annoying other people. So I'm trying really to do that job my way and the way I wouldn't want people, to bother me with, and really to bring value. So we are trying also to create like event that has good values for our target, but we're also doing white papers, and just being so much involved in that industry now, I see I can bring some values in conversation with any client, not just retailers, any client. I know I can bring something on the table that helps me liking my job and wanting to do it even more.
And being true to yourself, I think, is what you're describing there.
Yes.
The one thing that I'd add on top, just before we close the show, is you have a board and a boss that has the understanding that this takes time, patience. As long as we're seeing progress in the right direction and we're learning as we go, then the right things will happen. But it will take time, 12 to 18 months, before you start to see the real fruits of those seeds that you're sowing now. And I think that's great.
Definitely.
So many people I speak to are like, we've got a 3-month gap in our revenue, go out and find some business.
It's not a one-man job. All the people that involve, I've been talking about me a lot during that podcast, but I'm far from being alone doing that job. I just want to give recognition to all my colleagues that are working really hard as well.
Brilliant. Alice, it's been amazing. Thanks ever so much for sharing your insights. It's been a really fun conversation and just very honest about what works, what doesn't work, and what kind of mindset it takes. So thank you for sharing all that. Where can people find out more about you?
Well, our website is ref.digital, pretty easy. And if you obviously share that podcast, my LinkedIn, Alice Dawlat in English. And we'll be happy to talk to some of the listeners, which I did myself with a few of your people that were on your podcast.
Perfect. Thank you. And for those people that are listening that are just thinking about business development, different channels, podcasting is a great way of having another channel to market, of getting in front of your audience that hopefully are listening. So thanks for taking the courage, Alice, to come on the show. And I hope you enjoyed the process.
Yeah, it was fun.
Great. Alice, thanks very much indeed. It's been great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to Higgle, the B2B Sales Club podcast series with your host, Mike Lander. Please subscribe so that you'll catch all the next episodes.